Leaders. What comes to mind when you think of a leader on a football team? You got different kind of leaders. You got leaders who could be coaches. You got leaders who are on-field coaches in the form of a player wearing pads. And you got dudes who are just naturally born to lead. You need a leader if you're going to win the Super Bowl. You need a leader whose play is going to spill over to other guys who aren't so sure of themselves. You need that type of guy. I just want to say I'm proud of Jalen Mills for stepping up and being the new Malcolm Jenkins. Now, I don't want you guys to get this confused. You know, Malcolm Jenkins was a guy who was very much well embedded into, society and what was going on with the black culture. We're not asking that of Jalen Mills. We're not asking that of Jalen Mills. We're asking Jalen Mills to be a leader on the football field first, and then let that leadership take over into other areas of his life to where he's passionate about. That's what I think Malcolm Jenkins did. He decided to be a leader on the football field. Then he decided that if I could be a leader on the football field, if I could be a leader of men, I could be a leader in other areas of, life that can, help other people. Jalen Mills is going to be a leader on this football team this upcoming season. There's reports coming out that he's asked Doug to address the team, and he's done it. He's addressed wide receivers. He's addressed guys missing assignments, not pointing fingers, but saying, we got to get these things straight if we're going to get to the promised land. He even addressed himself, which is what a good leader always seems to do. I just wanted to talk about that because he was heavily criticized, multiple times during his tenure in, Philadelphia. And now to see him become a leader, that's hard work and that's determination. There are two groups out of minicamp that I believe took a huge step forward. The wide receiver room and the defensive line room. Now, the wide receiver room is compiled of a lot of young guys. What we're seeing is minicamp highlights. You can't really take a lot of stock into that. You really can't, to be honest. But it's refreshing to see that these young guys are buying into what Aaron Moorhead is preaching, and they're going out there and they're trying to excel. That's all you can really ask of a young guy who you haven't even seen preseason tape from. Now, this has to translate on the field, and I believe it will translate on the field for the simple fact that you can't get any worse than what we were at wide receiver due to the injuries and due to guys not stepping up last season. Now you got Deshaun Jackson, who everybody is saying is automatic. The connection with Deshaun Jackson and Carson Wentz is just lights out automatic. It just is what it is. They click. You got Alshon coming back. You got these three guys you drafted who are looking good and who are each having their own separate day in minicamp. The sky's the limit for this wide receiver group. It's the limit. And then you got the defensive line. The defensive line is compiled of veterans who've been on multiple teams for the most part. It's compiled of veterans who are hungry. It's compiled of veterans who have a dominant persona. And I believe that if we make a small little tweak, if we make a small adjustment with the defensive line, at times, if we teach this scheme to our defensive line that we're going to be talking about later in this video, I believe that this defensive line can tap into another level of dominance. I'm talking about the 5-2 defense. Yes, another level of dominance if we could tap into that. Now, there are some pros and cons to running the 5-2 defense. We're going to talk about that as well in terms of how we like to play in Philadelphia with the defensive line and how we like to rotate guys. But if you're not familiar with the 5-2 defense, it's 2 linebackers, a strong side linebacker, a weak side linebacker, and 5 guys up front. For instance, you could have Derek Barnett, Fletcher Cox next to Barnett, Javon Hargrave next to Fletcher Cox, Malik Jackson next to Javon Hargrave, and on your other end, Brandon Graham. We're going to highlight scenarios to where this can be most effective. We're going to highlight why we should implement this, and we're going to highlight pros and cons. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people have hit me up with the idea. I thought it was a good idea. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to speak about it. I'm going to put a few slides up showing how the layout of the defense will look and why I think it'll be effective. Now, Jim Schwartz is stubborn, so I don't expect to see this. But with the personnel that he got, with the way that these guys are looking in minicamp, yes, it's only minicamp, but this could quite possibly be the best defensive line in football. And if that is going to be the calling card to getting us to the Super Bowl, then we have to be able to put them guys in a position to take advantage of the opposition. That's exactly what we got to do as a football club. We got to understand our strengths and put our strengths in a position to take care of the opposition. I can't wait for football. They're saying we're 20-something days away right now. Washington, you on the menu. I hate it had to be you, but I'm glad it got to be you. Ladies and gentlemen, the 5-2 defense. I really like this defensive scheme for the personnel that we have this upcoming season. I got this from www.footballadvantage.com. Just look, man, it's self-explanatory. So you're going to have a defensive end, a defensive tackle, a nose tackle, a defensive tackle, and a defensive end again. In the perfect scenario, I can see Derek Barnett next to Fletcher Cox, next to Javon Hargrave, next to Malik Jackson, next to Brandon Graham. You will not be able to run or get a lot of time in the passing pocket with a setup like this. When Javon Hargrave comes back from his injury, I feel like the Philadelphia Eagles will be taking a huge step forward as far as production in the defensive, in the pass rush period. Guys like Malik Jackson have been religiously stepping up for the Philadelphia Eagles, and that's what we need moving forward. You know what I'm saying? And let's get into some of the assignments. You can have your edge guys come off the edge, and you also can have your strong and your Mike linebacker just, applying pressure to the backfield as well. This is what you call something similar to a jailbreak blitz, but not quite a jailbreak blitz. This is pressure. This is pressure. And along with this pressure comes with having the right personnel in the secondary on the field as well. You can run into a scenario where Slay could be a part of this package, and then Avonte Maddox, who seems to be the leader at the CB2 position right now, can be on the other side of Slay. Now, that'll basically be one-on-one, but they'll also have safety help in some cases. Because, every team's not going to run dual tight ends. One safety will be occupied by one of the tight ends, as you see here, and another safety will just be a free guy who will be able to take care of any deep help that he may need to take care of. Because in a perfect scenario, you're not going to really challenge Slay one-on-one. If Slay's having a year we all know he can have, you'll challenge Maddox, and you'll also have that safety giving help to Maddox, or that safety picking up the running back. The downside to a coverage like this is sometimes the running back can be lost in translation. And also another con to a package like this is that we can run thin on our rotations. Now, if you have the guys I named starting in this package, you also have to, know that your 3 interior pass rushers will get winded. So who's going to fill in their spots? Let me know what you think in the comments with this 5